Today, we're getting into a challenge that, well, if you're in Simi Valley, you probably know it. We're talking about finding that perfect spot, the one for a really special occasion, maybe an important client dinner where you need to impress, or a big anniversary. For a lot of you are looking to local dining habits, consumer feedback. It reveals this constant frustration, this feeling that truly elevated, memorable dining experiences, they're just few and far between right here. It's that classic problem. Needing somewhere genuinely impressive, but not wanting to drive an hour into the city. Our sources, everything from local reviews to market analyses, they consistently point to this gap. It's not a lack of restaurants overall.
No, not at all.
It's a lack of specific kinds of restaurants.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is that while Simi Valley has nearly 300 restaurants, quite a few actually, a big chunk of local residents feel like there's basically nowhere to take clients or celebrate, not without, compromising on the atmosphere or the food quality. And this isn't just a feeling people have. Market data backs it up. It shows people are actually spending money on upscale dining, but they're going to neighboring areas to do it. People want these places in Simi, but the options for truly elevated dining have, historically at least, been pretty scarce. So that creates this interesting little microeconomy, right? Where any place that successfully fills that gap becomes really, really significant. So when they find Bluefin, it's not just a culinary secret by accident. The sources hint it kind of strategically plays into that local desire for something real, something less flashy than a big city place. It doesn't need a big sign shouting out how great it is. The experience itself does the talking and often catches people totally by surprise. In a good way.
Our sources, from design blogs to customer comments, they all focus on this specific atmosphere. What kind of experience are they building here? How does this design connect back to that core need we talked about, finding an elevated atmosphere in Simi?
Right, this interior design, it's not just for looks, it's functional. It's built to fill that exact void we identified earlier. Remember, our research shows Simi's dining scene leans heavily towards casual family places or fast spots. Bluefin offers a real contrast. People really do say, according to our sources, they don't just come here to eat, they come to experience. It's the thoughtfulness of the design, which is rare locally, that makes it stand out.
It sounds like they're walking a fine line, though. Trying to be slightly upscale, but not, stuffy. That's tricky, especially if you want both business folks and families celebrating birthdays to feel comfortable.
Plus, the service gets constant praise across different reviews. It's described as attentive, professional, but, and this is key, never intrusive or pretentious. Guests say they feel genuinely welcomed, looked after, whether they're dressed up or down. So that mix lets it feel formal enough for a client, but also warm enough for a family celebration to feel special, not awkward. Quality is clearly the focus, but comfort isn't sacrificed.
And pulling the strings behind all this, our deep dive points to the man behind the mystery, Chef Haas. His background is seriously impressive, a U.S. Culinary Olympic award-winning chef. He's been leading Bluefin since, 2001? Sources keep highlighting his guiding idea as elevated food without pretense. Okay, but what does that really mean on the plate? How do the food critics, the regular diners, the industry watchers we looked at, how do they describe this philosophy translating into the actual food and the experience?
Yeah, that phrase, elevated food without pretense, it's like Bluefin's DNA. And the sources give us a great picture of how it works. Food critics often talk about Chef Haas's classical training and his incredibly high standards for ingredients. One really glowing review mentioned how his Olympic background means consistency. Like every dish, every single night hits this mark of excellence. It means, as another critic said, he takes familiar dishes and elevates them. Better technique, surprising flavors, but the food never feels fussy or overly complicated. He's not chasing trends, he's perfecting classics, adding his own touch. Our look at interviews with Chef Haas himself shows this comes through in how he sources things, focusing on sustainable, often local stuff when possible, but also flying in top-quality seafood, super fresh. So even if a dish sounds simple on the menu, the quality of what goes into it and how it's prepared is genuinely world-class. It delivers that wow without needing crazy garnishes or fancy descriptions.
That makes sense. And it feeds right into the menu itself, which sources describe as surprisingly wide-ranging, but also very deliberate. This isn't just a sushi place or just a steakhouse. We're talking top-tier sushi rolls, comforting Italian pastas, even American classics done really well. That's a lot to execute consistently. Why is having such a diverse, high-quality menu so important here? How does it solve that classic problem of where can we all agree to go?
Oh, the menu's versatility is a brilliant move for Simi Valley. Our market analysis and diner surveys show this again and again. The big challenge for groups here, families, business dinners, is pleasing different tastes at an upscale level. You might have someone who only eats sushi, someone else wanting a great steak, and maybe another person just craving a really good pasta dish. In most suburbs, finding one place that does all of those well without dropping the ball somewhere, it's almost impossible.
Right. Usually one thing is good, the rest is okay.
Exactly. But Bluefin, under Chef Haas, manages it. Reviews constantly mention people being surprised. They come for the sushi, maybe, then discover the steak is just as amazing or the pasta is fantastic. This range makes it the easy choice for mixed groups. You don't have that, well, Bill wants sushi, but Jane wants pasta. Dilemma that happens with limited high-end options. It lets Bluefin be this sort of culinary chameleon. It can suit almost anyone while sticking to that elevated food without pretense core. That's a huge advantage locally.
How do Chef Haas and his team keep the quality so high across different cuisines? Is it separate kitchen teams, special sourcing tricks, maybe a unique training approach? How do they defy that conventional wisdom?
That's where the Olympic award-winning chef part really comes into play, not just as a fancy title, but as how the kitchen actually operates.
Yeah.
Sources point to a few key things. First, Chef Haas is reportedly very hands-on everywhere in the kitchen. He has a skilled team, sure, but his oversight keeps things consistent. Second, the sourcing, like we touched on, it's crucial. He uses a core group of really high-quality ingredients that work across different styles. So that super fresh fish for sushi. Maybe it's also perfectly pan-seared for an Italian-style dish. Quality starts with the ingredients. Our analysis of his cooking style, based on critic descriptions, suggests he applies classic techniques, precision, balance, building flavor to all the dishes. Doesn't matter if it's Japanese, Italian, or American.
This focus on the whole experience, not just the food, it creates these amazing stories, almost like local legends. Our sources are full of them. They paint this picture of really deep loyalty, like that diner used to fancy Hollywood spots, who apparently said, and this is a quote from a review, "I get spoiled in Los Angeles, but Bluefin is as good as it gets here." I mean, think about that for a place in Simi.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And then there are the really personal stories. Families talking about Chef Haas himself, making special multi-course meals for them, turning dinner into something really intimate, unforgettable. These aren't just meals, they sound like significant life moments. What do these stories tell us about how Bluefin keeps customers coming back?
Our sources suggest that in a community like Simi, where local connection matters, these personalized touches are super effective. They make people feel genuinely seen and valued.
And speaking of feeling special, here's where it gets really interesting, especially thinking about that need for an impressive place to take clients. Our deep dive uncovered these whispers that guests from the Reagan Library, keynote speakers, important figures, recognizable faces, they've been known to quietly slip into Bluefin after evening events there.
It says so much about Bluefin's unique spot in the Simi landscape. The fact that these high-profile people who can presumably dine anywhere choose Bluefin after major events, it validates the quality in a way marketing just can't. Our sources suggest this reinforces Bluefin's image perfectly. Refined but never stiff, relaxed but never ordinary. It tells potential diners, especially someone looking to impress a client, okay, this place guarantees discretion, quality, and elevated experience, but without being overly formal or showy, which might make some clients uncomfortable.
Yeah, that balance.
Exactly. It confirms you can walk in wearing jeans or a suit and you'll fit right in. It proves Bluefin has mastered being both exceptional and welcoming, filling that critical need for a genuinely impressive local spot.
You are listening to CLAIR News, Simi Valley.